All right, so I have noticed in some of the fixed races that people still think these cars, next gen cars, brakes are terrible. And I don't think people are understanding the adjustability of the master cylinder sizes as well as bias. So I loaded up the Watkins Glen um, just fixed setup, even though I'm in the open uh, session. But in the fixed setup, you're now allowed to adjust your master cylinder sizes. That's where, here, let me move my mouse so you can see, where it says front MC, rear MC, and brake bias. These are all adjustable now, but they never used to be. And the way this works is the smaller the size of the master cylinder, the more pressure it puts to that part of the car or those calipers. So, for instance, front master cylinder would be the front two wheels, rear master cylinder, rear two wheels. The smaller it is, the more pressure. The more pressure, basically, the less you have to push on your brake pedal to get the brakes to work. So, for an example, let's start with this is what they start with. Let's go with 1 inch for both at 50.8%. And I'm going to get out, I'm going to pull up a section where there's no other cars. I'm going to get out there and drive around a little bit and show you how long it takes to stop, but when I push on the brakes. Then after I'm done with this, I will set the brakes to the small sizes and do the same thing again so you get an idea. All right, what I'll do is I'll warm the brakes up until I get up to about the bus stop area, and that's where I'll show how it slows down, because you need to get some heat in these brakes in order for them to work.
All clear on pit exit, you can push now. The leader's just done a 111.86.
You'll notice that little red thing there, where the brake is at, I'll be able to push all the way to the floor probably without locking up. Yeah, I'm standing on my pedal as hard as I can. See how long it takes to slow down? Okay. That was maximum braking potential that I can put on with my pedal. Now I'll take and run these down all the way to 1930 seconds, small second B, leaving the bias the same size. And I'll do the same exact thing.
The leader has just done a 111.00. Pit exit's clear, push.
I know I need to do some practicing, but at first I wanted to make this little video that I can practice. You can already tell that as I push on the brakes, they work better, or I have to put less pressure to get the brakes to lock up. Earlier you noticed that I pushed it all the way to the floor. I'll probably barely have to touch it this time to get them lock up. See how much touchier they are? So there's two advantages to this. First off, you can adjust the amount of braking force in your car, depending on what kind of pedals you have. So if you find you're locking up real easy and it's hard for you to modulate back so you don't lock up your brakes, run larger master cylinder sizes. If you feel that you're having to push too hard and it's uncomfortable, then lower your master cylinder sizes. And then keeping them equal, same size, keeps the bias. Hold on, let me pause this. All right. If you keep them equal like that, your bias is actually 50% when it's at 50%. If you have different master cylinder sizes, the percentage changes, but that really doesn't matter what percentage it is unless you're used to doing it with something else. For me, I run like, well, for instance, here I'll run in the fixed setup, I'll run 27, 30 seconds front, 3/4 rear at 52%. And each track I'll always go out and I'll somewhere around this area I'll run either with one setting in between them or right next to each other. But always the master cylinder in the rear is always one, always lower. I mean, always smaller. And then I run 52, 53, but I'll go out and practice a little bit, make sure I'm not locking up. And also, the really cool thing about this too is when you're in the car, your master cylinder or your brake bias adjustments now, instead of only being like +3%, -3%, you can go the whole spectrum from like 56 to 44, somewhere in that area. I think it's 56 to 44 that you can go. So you have a big range of adjustment in the car. Anyways, I hope that makes it a little bit easier to understand for you guys. And hopefully it makes better racing so people aren't locking up so easy or locking up the front end and crashing into each other and whatnot. Thank you.